Hi everyone, my name is Matt. I'm the youth and family pastor at Cornerstone Church in Marshfield. I'm here today with your Cornerstone Connection, a daily devotional. Well, have you ever heard the phrase, it's too good to be true? And generally there's a follow-up to that. If it's too good to be true, then guess what? It's too good to be true. I remember when Carly and I were first married, and maybe the first 2 or 3 years, we were often approached with these great opportunities to get involved in just kind of this side business. And what we would eventually find out is what was pitched to us was, honestly, it was just too good to be true. And we we're going to find ourselves in over our head and probably not making the money that we were promised. Well, today, as we move into the letter to the Galatian church, the Apostle Paul starts his letter off to these people that he loves dearly, to this church that he planted. But he's fired up. He's upset because there have been some false teachers that have come into the church, and they have taught a gospel that he says is no gospel at all. You see, they have twisted Paul's words. They've told the people, this Paul that planted you guys and taught you the gospel, he's no apostle whatsoever. And Paul he's fired up. And so as he gets to verse 11, he makes something clear, and he makes it clear that this good news, this gospel news that was shared with him, this is not a message from man. This is a message from God. In other words, it's not too good to be true. It's too good to be from man. And so Paul goes on in verses 11 to the end in sharing his story to remind the Galatian people that the way his ministry got started, the way he first heard the good news about Jesus, it wasn't from man. It was from God. Check out verse 11 and following to see what I mean. Here's what he writes. He says, For I would have you know, brothers, that the gospel, the good news that was preached by me is not man's gospel. It's too good to be from man. For I did not receive it from any man, nor was I taught it, but I received it through a revelation of Jesus Christ. For you have heard of my former life in Judaism, how I persecuted the church of God violently, and I tried to destroy it. And I was advancing in Judaism beyond many of my own age among my people, so extremely zealous was I for the traditions of my fathers. But when he who had set me apart before I was born, and who called me by his grace, was pleased to reveal his Son, that being Jesus, to me, in order that I might preach him among the Gentiles, I did not immediately consult with anyone, nor did I go up to Jerusalem to those who were apostles before me, but I went away into Arabia, and I returned again to Damascus. Then after 3 years I went up to Jerusalem to visit Cephas, who is Peter, and I remained with him 15 days. But I saw none of the other apostles except James, the Lord's brother. In what I am writing to you before God, I do not lie. Then I went into the regions of Syria and Cilicia, and I was still unknown in person to the churches of Judea that are in Christ. They only were hearing it said, He who used to persecute us is now preaching the faith he once tried to destroy. Verse 24, and they glorified God because of me. I love this testimony of Paul's, and he shares it in several places throughout the New Testament, about how he came to know Jesus because Jesus came to him and revealed himself to him. There was no way that Paul could deny that Jesus lived after his encounter with him. And Paul's life was completely changed that day. He was transformed as one who used to persecute the church to one who would now go and plant churches, to one who used to stop those who were trying to follow Jesus, and he became one who followed Jesus. You see, Paul was fired up when he wrote to the Galatian church because he was completely convinced of this gospel message that was too good to be from man, because he had learned of this gospel message from God himself through Jesus Christ. Friends, isn't that a beautiful story? The good news about Jesus Christ, it is too good to be from man. If we had tried to dream up a plan for God to rescue his people, we would have never come close to the story of Jesus. Friends, have you been changed by this good news? Have you been changed by this gospel, this good news about Jesus, that he came to earth, that he lived the perfect life, that he died a sufficient death, and he rose a victorious resurrection for you and for me so that we can live out this good news that Paul proclaimed to the Galatian church and to many others during his time on earth. Friends, this gospel message is too good to be from man. It is from God, and it's for us. May we share it today and live it out for his glory and for the good of the world around us. Have a great day, friends. We'll see you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.